Today, Senator Amy Klobuchar and Hennepin County Sheriff Dawanna Witt held a press conference to highlight new efforts to keep Minnesotans safe from fentanyl overdose and drug trafficking. The pair were joined by various other state and city officials, as well as families directly affected by fentanyl poisoning. Let's take you there now and hear what they had to say.
For fentanyl overdose victims and their families, these fleeting moments have permanent, tragic consequences. That's why we are fighting to crack down on fentanyl trafficking, to stop these illicit drugs and fake pills from entering our borders and flooding our neighborhoods. It's why Congress included significant funding in the bipartisan infrastructure law to harden security at our ports of entry and increase our capacity to screen vehicles for illegal drugs. It's why we recently passed a bill to be able to better take on the international trafficking. In the words of our Drug Enforcement Administrator, the cartels in Mexico and cartels in China have literally harnessed the internet. They have found ways to sell this on the internet. And it used to be in the old days, the sheriff knows this better than me, that drug dealers actually didn't want to kill people. It was bad for their business. Coarse, but true. Now, they're behind invisible sites on the Snapchat, invisible sites on the platforms where they can simply sell their drugs. People go back to them, and no one else on the site even knows that the last person that bought something on that site died. Recently, the DEA found that 1/3 of poisoning cases had direct ties to social media. That's why I'm fighting to pass the bipartisan Cooper-Davis Act, named for a 16-year-old fentanyl overdose victim in Kansas, to require social media companies to report fentanyl and other dangerous drug sales on their platforms. The thought that law enforcement doesn't even have the information about what's going on these platforms, to me, is absolutely outrageous.
This is an unbelievable large problem right now. For the Sheriff's Office alone, seizing enough fentanyl in the first 6 months of this year to potentially kill every person in Hennepin County, and that's just one agency. And our efforts go so far beyond just enforcing the law. In addition to equipping our deputies on the street and in the jail with naloxone, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is the first sheriff's office in the state of Minnesota to offer naloxone trainings to the community. We meet the community where they're at. And I encourage my other law enforcement partners to create a similar program. This is something that we cannot afford to ignore. In addition to equipping our deputies on the street and in the jail with naloxone, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is also developing a platform to educate the public through events like our Focus on Fentanyl initiative. We have also partnered with the DEA to promote the One Pill Can Kill campaign in order to further educate the public. You see, this isn't a scare campaign. This is reality. This is where we're at. And we must come together to do better, to make sure that we can stop these things from happening. Our work at the Sheriff's Office with our public health partners is transformative. And we are so lucky to have our Hennepin County Opioid Response Coordinator, Julie Bach, with us today. Hennepin County has proactively addressed this crisis, partnering with both law enforcement and community partners to coordinate and execute this life-saving work. Working with our communities has got to be a part of the plan. Inviting them in and listening to their stories, we have to put a face on this. We have to allow our feelings to be affected by this. Because when we're running on emotions, it's a little common sense and a lot of proactive work, we can really make a dent in this crisis.